Hello everyone, this is Kyle Cooper with Varsity Sports, and I'm back again with another halftime segment. This week we are going back to the NFL. We are skipping the podium and going to a brand new segment called Dive. You might be familiar with this guy right here, NFL quarterback Brock Purdy. Some of you might not actually know this, but Brock Purdy was born here in Arizona in Queen Creek. He made his name known throughout the state back in 2015 through 2017 as the quarterback for Perry High School. Now, right after his sophomore year in high school, the AIA actually adjusted the region so Perry could be placed in the 6A Division Premier Region. The 6A region ranks as one of the toughest regions in all of the United States for high school football. During high school, Purdy competed against some top-tier competition in playing Chandler, Hamilton, and Basha. You might be familiar with those schools. In the years of 2016 and 2017, Brock Purdy led Perry to the state championship back-to-back, but ended up losing both of those games, 65-28 and 48-42 to Chandler High School. For the 2017 to 2018 season, Brock Purdy was named the Gatorade Player of the Year, and this was the first Arizona Football Player of the Year award to go to Perry High School. Throughout high school, his stats were pretty impressive, throwing for 4,410 yards, 57 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 1,106 rushing yards, and 10 rushing touchdowns. It wasn't all positive for Brock Purdy as people overlooked him, and this continued to be a theme throughout his career. ESPN and 247 Sports considered Purdy as only a 3-star recruit coming out of high school. Despite this rating, Purdy committed to Iowa State University and joined Kyle Kempt and Zeb Nolan as the third-string quarterback. He soon became the starter that freshman year as Kempt got injured and Nolan wasn't really producing on the field, so they gave the start to Brock Purdy. In his first season, he would finish with a career-best 169.9 passer rating, and he completed 146 out of 220 passes for 2,250 yards, 16 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. The Cyclones achieved 4 consecutive winning seasons with Purdy under center. This made it the first time the program has seen 4 straight winning seasons back since 1923 to 1927. Throughout college, Purdy earned a 151.1 passer rating, throwing for 12,170 yards, 81 touchdowns, and 33 interceptions. But he still wasn't turning any heads and getting noticed. After college, he declared for the NFL draft, and if you're an NFL fan, we all know that Brock Purdy was picked last in the 2022 draft. This is where his nickname Mr. Irrelevant came from. The 2022 to 20
helmet off in the field. It's going to be number 66,
Yeah, that's
James
the big
Cobb.
captain, James Cobb. That penalty's probably going to be on him. A little extra on that end of that block. He played through the whistle. Coaches love to see that, but you just can't have that excessive force at the end. You can't have what looked to be just probably going to be an unsportsmanlike.
We'll see the call, the field. I think they picked up the flag.
Did they pick it up?
Seems like it. They're gonna play here in midfield.
Oh, if they pick back everything I say, they're going to be loving all over Cobb in the film room on that.
Indeed.
Another great play for one of those linemen.
Yeah, you want them to be very aggressive and show off what they have. And one of the head refs is going to show up here. It will be a penalty on Desert Mountain. It's actually going to be on the Cobras. It's going to be a face match. But it's actually 2 penalties. It's also going to be unsportsmanlike conduct on Desert Mountain. Both penalties offset each other, and so we pretend nothing happened. Perhaps a little bit of, you have a little bit of frustration on both sides and both getting aggressive. So great play there from Max Sheffrin. They're at the 50-yard line, 2nd and 1 coming up. So you have Brady McDonough with the hands off. He's going to hand it off to Max Sheffrin. He's going to find a quick slide onto the left side of the field, just enough yards to pick up the first down. As you have Casillas with the tackle for the Cobras, and just like that, they move the chains. They get the team going, and 2 runs for Max Sheffrin equals a first down.
Yeah, it's a great job by just the front of that Desert Mountain offense. Everyone in the building knows that they're going to run it right there. So Cactus is stacking the box. They've got 8 or 9 guys in there, and they're still able to contain that edge and get Sheffrin just enough room for the first down.
Indeed, as Brady McDonough gets the snap here, he's going to end up throwing it to one of his favorite receivers, Dylan Hipp. The last time Dylan Hipp had any connection in this game was been Brady McDonough absolutely just overthrew the shot over him, unable to make a great play there. Just missed him there. He just ends up throwing it into traffic. Luckily, it wasn't picked off there. Not sure what Brady McDonough saw there. Luckily, it already sets an incompletion. 2nd and 10 coming up for the Wolves.
Again, for those of you who missed the first half, we're all happy to see Hipp still out there. He had to come off the field earlier. Something was hurting him, but just glad to see he's still playing. He's still running around. He looks good.
Exactly, yes. McDonough is going to hand it off. So I believe Max Sheffrin back again, able to get a good gain there or actually just able to reach it back to the line of scrimmage there. 3rd and 10 coming for the Wolves here. Let's see what happens. And, just like you mentioned, Steven, going on in that first half, we had Dylan Tapley score a touchdown right after that. And can't forget about Cactus High School. You had Nico Boncoy Montoya scoring a great touchdown and just dazzling all over the Desert Mountains defense. And then Dylan Tapley able to answer back. And Tony Cumberland gets a surprise touchdown. So they lead 21-6 here. Brady McDonough getting ready for the snap. He corrals it, throws it to Max Sheffrin. He gets a good correction there. He breaks off one tackle, trying to get the extra yardage. Able to pick up 5-6 yards there. It's going to make it 4th and manageable. Wouldn't be surprised if Coach Hamilton go for it here.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be willing to bet they're going to go for it there. But let's just go back to last play. Raymond Jones, he's been having a great game tonight. He's got a bunch of tackles. He's been all over the field. And he's just such an inspiring story. He actually almost had to miss last year. He was born with a heart defect, basically a hole in his heart. Doctors, they assumed that it would heal and close up. It hasn't closed up completely. He managed to play last year. He managed to delay he was supposed to have a surgery because right before last year, it was found out that he had a subaortic hemorrhage. Basically, you got some bleeding in the brain, and he needed an emergency surgery, the doctors thought, but he fought through it. He was able to play the season because he wanted to play his junior season. He didn't want to miss his junior season in hopes of being scouted for college football. And he talked with his coach, he talked with his parents, he talked with his doctors. He was always in close connection. They let him play the season. They let him get through, and he was able to get through that and have the surgery after the season. And you got to love to see him still on the field, still fighting through it. It's a great story.
Great story indeed, and I'm glad that you brought it up. Always awesome to mention people's and their backstories because it's not always about the game of football, but more the background of what happens and what their journey was to be in this position that they're at. And they want to go on the advantage, continue their studies in the collegiate level as well. And that's what everyone wants to be here, and that's why everyone's playing this amazing football game as they go off for the punt, and now this time they're going to go for it here in 4th and short. Brady McDonough, they had the offense out there as we're going to have a quick player run in. It's going to be Brody Olson making big plays on the defense, and he's on the offense here. We're going to see what happens here.
That's going to be a
And it's going to be
offsides.
an offsides, I believe. It is going to be an offsides for Cactus.
Offside
And just like that,
Xavier Gonzalez.
Xavier Gonzalez getting a little bit to answer there. And instead of making him work to get that first down, they get it for free. Penalties playing a figure right now.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be, if you're Coach Hamilton, you're happy that the Desert Mountain offense isn't the one committing the penalties, but it's just how much, if Cactus is going to get back in this game, how many penalties are they going to be able to sustain? They know that the Desert Mountain team is prone to penalties, but that doesn't mean that they can have their own.
Indeed. It's McDonough hands it off to Sheffrin there. Just, oh, wow. It is going to be recovered by Cactus High School. Bit of a commotion there. Max Sheffrin had possession of the ball, and he ended up losing possession. And it's going to be recovered by Cactus High School. So a big turns of events there. And essentially, you get the punt off on the 4th and down, or they stopped them on 4th and down there. 4th down, excuse me, I'm not first and fourth. I lost my train of thought there. But just like that, Cactus, they get the ball back.
Yeah, we just talked about Raymond Jones. Him and John Jones they just blew up that play. They were right in the face of that Desert Mountain offense. And this Cactus defensive line has been primarily what is keeping them in the game.
Indeed. The defense is here. The defense is now. And we're going to see what happens here. Cactus getting a quick turnover to start off this first half. We're at the 9-minute and 42-second mark here at the third quarter. Comes up here, Lagofina gets possession of the ball, passes it to Davis, able to screen out to the first one. Gets a good green grass in front of him, making great plays there, and he's going to be met up by Cassius Atherton there. And I believe that is Lucas Blumley as well. Blumley, excuse me, making the big defensive play there, but it's going to be the gain of 19 from Davis there, giving life to Cactus.
Yeah, Sebastian, I'm going to sound like a broken record, or at least if you listen to the first half, I'm going to sound like one. It's this Cactus offense relies so much on creating space. They rely a bit on that horizontal aspect, but it's just getting those playmakers in space, and they did right there. That little screen, and they were able to make a guy miss. It's just what they need to rely on. Get their playmakers in space to at least get one missed tackle and just get those yards after catch.
Indeed, as we had Braden Laguafuena absolutely rushed, finding none other than the linebacker Lucas Blumley, making his presence known in this defense, and just making a tear there, forcing the bad pass to Nico Boncoy Montoya to force the incompletion there. 2nd and 10 coming up for the Cobras. As we're going to get ready here. Defensive lineman's trying to get some corrections here. Tony Cumberland had the touchdown earlier. Braden, they leave Dylan Hip open. And just like that, decides not to throw it. He breaks a tackle off of Tony Cumberland. He gets yardage from there. We're going to say that's broken from 2 tackles because Dylan Hip and Tony Cumberland were in the area, and they did not bring him down. And even Braden Laguafuena just admitted and just gave up, just thinking he's going to get sacked here, and just gets surprised there. Doesn't go for the sack there, and we have more dirty laundry on the field.
Yeah, that's all Nico Boncori Montoya. That's all Laguafuena. That's all Laguafuena right there. He had nothing on that play. He did have Jordan Davis open down the field, but you can't find him when you've got 3 or 4 Desert Mountain defenders in your face right there. He's running for his life from the get-go. You would have, obviously you would have loved to get that play downfield, but you just can't in that situation. And Laguafuena was just lucky to be able to make a huge play like that and get the first down.
Indeed, he's going to throw it off to his favorite receiver, Nico Boncoy Montoya, and he gets absolutely rocked there by Santana Wilson. And it was a big block there, and he just absolutely pulverized that play. And he collided with his own teammate there to force that big play. And he woke up a little bit shaky there. Hopefully he's doing okay.
I mean, that's a huge play by Wilson. It's why Texas wants him. It's why he's such a huge recruit. He's a big physical corner out there, and he's been showing it.
Absolutely. Making the big play there, stopping the play action from happening. And it's going to be a penalty on Desert Mountain. It's going to be interesting what they called it there. I'm going to assume it's going to be a false start off of Desert. Oh, it can't be a false start. It has to be an offside for Desert Mountain, excuse me. So, Not sure what the call was there. They get 5 yards. They restart the down.
You just got to wonder how long can Desert Mountain survive these penalties. You see it right here. It's the difference between 2nd and 8 and 2nd and 3 or 4. 2nd and 9, 2nd 10. It's just that difference right there. It could completely turn and drive around.
Yeah, we have Bonke Montoya gets the motion there, and he's going to get picked off there. He's going to get recepted there by Brody Olson. He's going to try to make it into the way. He had a lot of green grass in front of him, but luckily it's going to be Lagofena to correct his own actions there and force the tackle there. But he ends up throwing the ball away, and who's there? Brody Olson with the interception and force yet another turnover for Desert Mountain.
I'm telling you, Sebastian, this Desert Mountain, it's not just Olson. It's not just Cumberland. The whole front seven is just wreaking havoc all night. They're basically taking over the game.
Indeed, and just like that, what could have been a good drive there from Cactus High School ends up becoming a disaster class for themselves, as now Desert Mountain back on the field. Last they fumbled last at hand. So we're going to see what happens here. Brady McDonough with possession of the ball. He's looking deep. He's looking far. He feels the presence. He just throws it away. Look, the big dangers there. And he just ends up tossing it away there. And just like that, it's going to be 2nd and 10. But we do have a late flag there.
Are they going to call intentional grounding?
I can't see an intentional grounding. There was a receiver in the area. I'm pretty sure it was Jack Freeberg there.
The only thing is they might rule that he wasn't out of the tackle box, or they might have got a holding on one of the Desert Mountain linemen.
Yeah, it could be one of those, one or the other. It is going to be intentional grounding.
Yeah, they're just going to say he didn't fully get out of the tackle box. The ball was on that left hash, so you got to basically get close to those numbers to get out of that box. And it looked like McDonough was just past that hash line, and he wasn't close enough to get out of there.
And just like that, the throwaway ball is going to turn it into 2nd and 24. And see what happens here. The showcase. Brady McDonough with possession of the ball. He's going to throw it into his favorite receiver, Jack Freeberg. Able to make some good plays there with some good action, and able to get some yards back off of that play.
So are you telling me Dylan Tapley's got demoted? He's not his favorite receiver anymore?
You know, I'm just going to say everyone's his favorite receiver because he shared the love today. I'm not going to lie.
He is.
Obviously, you know, Max Sheffrin's been taking the handles more likely.
Max Sheffrin is the definitive favorite tonight.
Yeah. So, you know, I'm going to try to calm down the language. You're right. You know, I should probably try to find just some good adjectives to just replace him so I could figure out who he actually throws it to there. So I take back my comment, not his favorite. He just finds one of his prominent receivers, Jack Freeberg.
I mean, he could be his favorite. He's such a talented player for this offense.
Indeed. So we're going to see what shakes out here. 8 minutes left in this third quarter. He's looking deep. He's going to find someone. He's just going to throw it again. Once again. It's just turned into a turnover. Friends, I am just flabbergasted. Gabriel Sortello gets his 2nd interception of the day.
It's just a great play by this Cactus team. Again, the Cactus defense is the only thing keeping them in the game right now. It's a 2-score game, but it's the fact that it's only 21-6 so far.
Yeah,
if they can get something going on offense, Cactus could turn this game around.
Indeed, and Gabriel Sortello gets his 2nd off of Brady McDonough, and I lost count of how many interceptions Brady has thrown today. If it was 3 or 4, so we're gonna try to get a good count before the game ends. But just like that, Cactus with the ball once again. Brady Lagofena gets a throw there. Almost picked off once again. It's turning into a penalty fest into the turnover test. But Brady Lagofena, seeing the pressure, he feels he just tries to get it over. And I believe that was Tony Cumberland with the hands up there, almost picks it off again.
You know, Tony Cumberland just sees it. He's like, hey, your defense made a play. I'm going to go try and just get the ball right back right now. Tony Cumberland's been all over the field tonight. And again, he's one of the many who is keeping this game. Both defenses are shining tonight, and Tony Cumberland is a huge reason why.
Yeah, and you have to bring up the factor, like, is the defense playing really good defense, or is just the offense is being lackluster? And we're going to see what happens here as you have Bonke Montoya with the motion, almost batted down, and it might be coming back for Bonke Montoya there. It's going to be recepted for a good gain of 5. But it might be coming back a holding call.
I think that's a holding on one of the
one of the
Cactus guards right there.
So we're going to see what the call is here. as Boncori Montoya able to get a good reception there. And I feel like that's been a lot of what Boncori Montoya does, especially. He gets motioned out into the left or in the right field. It's going to be a roughing on the passer. We take that back, and more penalty and more dirty laundry for the Wolves. And that's going to take them to the 30-yard for Desert Mountain. And they're in good position here to try to get a touchdown here.
Again, it's Coach Hamilton mentioned that after facing some of the better skill players in the state last week in Chaparral, they wanted to fix what they can. They wanted to clean everything up. Again, it was their better night in penalties last week, but facing another great group of skill players here, there's penalties everywhere, and it's what's keeping Cactus in the game.
Indeed, as Braden Lagofuena and Boncori Montoya, miscommunication there. Boncori Montoya thought he was going to go the go route, but Braden Lagofuena thought of the corner route or the go back route. Miscommunication there. Could have been dangerous there. Santana Wilson had it all covered.
I mean, it's really, is it a great idea to throw to Santana Wilson? He's been there on every single play. He's so good for this Desert Mountain team. He's been locking down everyone.
Indeed, he's going to be playing one-on-one against Boncori Montoya. He's looking. That's an ugly throw, but it's going to end up in the hands. It's going to be Jordan Davis. There we go. Hard to make out the jersey number there. And it was a different quarterback. It was Casillas. It was going to be Antonio Casillas, the sophomore, coming in for a play, making a. It wasn't a pretty throw at all, because he saw the ball just wobbling all over the plate, but able to make a great connection there. And you have to bring it back there. Dylan Tapley was in the area.
Yeah, that was all Dylan Tapley. He was playing that deep safety, trying to go in. And right there, he's just trying to do too much.
Yeah,
he's trying to make a superhero play right there, when all you got to do, just take down the guy, try and punch the ball out. But it's doing a little too much right there.
Indeed, and just like that, quick gain there shows blitz. Ends up trying to find Davis once again. It's been Davis and Boncori Montoya for the receiving corps for Cactus, and luckily it just slips through the hands of Jordan Davis.
Yeah, it's Laguafina made the right call. He threw it to the right guy right there. I mean, Davis was open, and he made a solid throw, but it was Lucas Blumling. He was coming off the edge. He was right in his face and just forced a little bit of a wide throw right there.
Indeed. Second and goal coming up here. Laguafina with the possession. He's looking for his area receiver, and Montoya. They're playing catch ball.
Pass intended.
It was intended, and you're going to have to excuse me there. It wasn't Santana Wilson. It was, I believe, Brody Olsen or Elijah Banquet. It was one or the other. They both were in the vicinity, making a play against Boncori Montoya there. It was like a bit of a give and take there. Luckily, just ends up in an incompletion.
Yeah, that was Elijah Bankwell, and that was great coverage by him. He was using the sideline really well. He didn't give the receiver anywhere to go, and most importantly, he didn't give Lagofuena anywhere to throw the ball. I mean, he was completely. That ball was almost picked off.
Wow, that would have been to the house there, and that was Elijah Banquo. He had it. He just needed to catch it, and he's taking it to the house.
Just two great plays in the row by Banquo.
Indeed, 2 plays there, forces the 4th down here. And now considerations here. Are they going for it here, or are they going to try to get the 3 points off of here? And it looks like they're going to get the field goal unit out of the play there. But wow, let's go back. Let's go review that play again. The pressure was immense in there. The pocket absolutely broke down. 3 Desert Mountain players were approaching Lagofuena there, and he just throws in there, hope for a prayer. And the only one who was there was Elijah Banquo. And he just absolutely drops the absolute pick sixer, because he had the speed, he had the momentum. He's taking it to the house.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to bet on – I love me some linemen. I'm not going to bet on their left tackle to run down a corner.
Indeed.
And that's what it was going to turn out to be.
And just like that Cactus drive, which was full of positive notes, almost ended in a pick 6. And they bring out the field goal unit. Coach Brian Bellis just decides to just go for the 3 points or just try to get some points on the board. And it's all for naught as they missed the field goal there. It was Aaron Prince who misses the field goal there, and everything resets in Desert Mountains with the ball at the 20-yard line. Take me back that last drive, Steven. What just happened? What went right and what went wrong?
It was, again, there was positives from both sides. It was more just Desert Mountain shooting themselves in the foot with the penalties right there. They got away with it because of that bad kick, but it's just the penalties. It's turning 2nd and 8, 2nd and 9 to 2nd and 5, 2nd and 3, 2nd and 4. It's just turning what should be a good start to a drive or a good position to force a punt. And you're basically giving them a first down or close to it right there.
Indeed, as Brady McDonough hands it off to Max Shepard there. Gain of 5 for Max Shepard, and he's going off an incredible game today. Him and Tony Cumberland up there on player of the game. And that's a question I'll ask for you after we reach the 4th quarter because there's still so much game time left. Desert Mountain leads it here. We're just approaching 6 minutes left in this 3rd quarter.
Oh, I don't know if I can show my hand.
As we're going to see what happens here as Brady McDonough not having the best game today, fakes off the motion there, looking for his receiver, finds Journey Solomon, gains a good corral there, almost slips off to his hands. It's going to be thrown out, going to be forced out of play there by number 57, Raymond Jones, making the tackle there off of Journey Solomon. And the chains continue here for Desert Mountain approaching midfield.
Again, it's more positives for that Desert Mountain team. They're getting more guys involved than just their big 3. Obviously, they would love to see Dylan Hip get a little more involved. They'd love to see Tapley get a little more involved lately. They've tried to throw it to him. He just hasn't connected since the half. But you're getting Solomon involved. You're keeping Sheffrin still involved. And you gotta love what you're seeing if you're Coach Hamilton outside of the penalties.
Indeed, and just like you mentioned, the penalties, we have more dirty laundry on the field. It's gonna be interesting what it hit. I might be an offensive holding for Desert Mountain, so this might be coming back here. And just like that, plays continue here. As we had Brady McDonough fake the motion, they're just trying to connect with his receivers. Gets to Jack Freeberg. They're trying to go for the quick splits and trying to go up the midfield and able to make nothing out of nothing.
Yeah. If they call this on Desert Mountain, which it looks like, yes, it is. Yeah, Cactus is smiling ear to ear because they just turned a bad play into something worse. Because that play was going to be a loss of a yard or 2, and now it's 1st and 20.
1st and 20, loss of 10 if you don't count the down to play there. More penalties on the field there, and I have to bring it back to you know, like you think that's gonna be one of the big questions you ask Coach Hamilton in the postgame?
I don't know if I even have to ask.
You'll probably bring it up.
But it's going to be the question going just forward for their year.
Indeed.
How long can they survive with this many penalties?
Indeed, as Brady McDonough hands it off to Max Sheffrin here. And at this point, the question begs to differ. You know, well, Desert Mountain's just going to play the running game and just try to milk this clock here. So we're going to about to reach 5 minutes in the 3rd quarter, then you still have another quarter left, and you're up by 2 possessions. So what's the thought process here for Coach Hamilton?
I don't think Hamilton's ready to just completely burn the clock and go into that running game because you've seen Cactus have the ability to stuff that box. You've seen them able to stuff the running play, and they're not ready yet to completely lean on the run. They're still going to try and keep their offense going, but I'm sure they'll try and keep it a little more under control and conservative.
Indeed, he's trying to find Dylan Hip there. Brady McDonough just ends up throwing away there, and you're looking at a 3rd and 23. And, you know, you bring the specs to different, you know, you think the sack would have just been better to just start milking the clock down. We're under 5 minutes now here. 3rd and 23. At this point, I just feel like you just hand it off to Max Sheffrin and call this drive a donezo.
Yeah, it's just the real question, though, is how much can the Lions played well at times. They've played well in spurts, but it's that Cactus defensive front that has been able to, and they will be able to if they just completely go into the run with 4.5 minutes left. They will be able to cause 3 and outs. They'll be able to stop him here, and they'll be able to force punts, force bad plays, force tackles for loss, and potentially set them up to get back in the game.
Yeah, and, you know, we have to ask the question as we're going to have a quick timeout here from Desert Mountain. Coach Hamilton's going to try to have a go with the offense here and see what we think he can do. But the question begs to differ, you know. Brady McDonough, he's not having the best of games today, you know. You look at Desert Mountain and the offense, how potent it is. You bring up Dylan Tapley, Max Sheffrin, Jack Freeberg, and the question marks today is Brady McDonough, you know. And obviously another person who I haven't even mentioned in today's game is Ryan McDonough, the brother. He always plays his backup running back for Max Sheffrin, but obviously his name hasn't been mentioned much today. And Brady McDonough, 4 interceptions, kind of lost count there, and just not having his way in the airtime.
Yeah, if I'm Coach Hamilton right there, I'm just telling McDonough, I've got faith in him still. You've got the team loves that quarterback, but You're just telling him, hey, take what's open, take that first read. There's always going to be like a check down right there. If the first read's not there, go get your check down, or just run it for however many, like 2, 3, 4 yards you can get.
Indeed.
And just don't force a play.
That's exactly what it is. As Brady McDonough finds Max Sheffrin for a gain of approximately 15 yards, makes it from 3 and 23 to 4th and 7 yards. I mean, we'll see what happens here. It's looking like the punt unit's going to come out for Desert Mountain. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is the first time that the punt unit actually comes out and see they actually go through with the play.
I mean, it's a rare sight to see with this Desert Mountain offense. And what led to it? A penalty on first down.
Deep to receive for Cactus.
Penalties indeed absolutely becoming just the death of Desert Mountain here. And we have Nigo Boncoy Montoya in the backfield. He's going to get the punt going here. He's going to look at the reception. He's going to get good corral. Going to make a lot of play with it. Gets a good shimmer move off the edge there, but ultimately met up at the 9-yard line. It's going to be a lot of yards of gainage there for the Cactus, as the punter for Desert Mountain was Tyler Stanford.
Yeah, I mean that's a great job by the coverage unit. I mean they outkicked the coverage a little bit. It didn't have a huge hang time on it, but you've got Jack Rold and company in there to be able to prevent really anything from happening, and it's going to be first down. Not in a great spot for this Cactus team. They're behind their 10-yard line.
Indeed, and now we're going to get the checks downs here. Desert Mountain defense is back up. Last time this drive was here, Cactus High School, they had a drive going. They looked like they were going to put some points up, but ultimately a couple plays, not great decisions from Braden Laguafena in the end zone, almost result in the pick 6 by Elijah Mears. And just like that, they missed the field goal, and they weren't going to get anything out of something. So back on the drawing board for Cactus High School. They're going to hand it off there to Jordan Davis, who's been, I want to say he's been quiet, but he's been making a big factor in today's game.
This might be the key to this drive, though. I don't see Cassius Atherton out there on the field. It's just Tony Cumberland. They've got Tony Cumberland in there, and instead of Cassius Atherton, it looks like Cole Tappin's in there.
It is. Maybe trying to give him a quick breather. Hopefully he's okay. No injuries really came up when we saw on the field, so only time could tell. Desert Mountain shows blitz. They're going to push onto the side, and they're going to end up reaching Braden Laguafena. And he's going to get, and it wasn't Braden Laguafena, it was actually the backup, Antonio Casillas, who was at quarterback. And he just gets absolutely rocked, met up at the 1-yard line there, and it's going to be 3rd and long here for Cactus High School, and they need to be careful because Desert Mountain's been showing a lot of blitz recently, so I wouldn't be surprised they go extremely aggressive here.
Hey, Cole Tappin's just making me eat my words. Immediately after I note that he's in there instead of Atherton, him and Cumberland are immediately in the backfield, blowing up that play, and he gets the sack.
Gets the sack indeed. I believe his first of the year. Add on to that tally there, and a lot of work to be made here. I believe Antonio Casillas still stays in that cornerback position. Hopefully Braden Laguafena is okay. He's probably just transitioned into a different position here. Didn't get ready for the blitz. Low snap once again. Going to throw it quick, and he's going to be picked up, and he's going to be taken to the house. And who else than Lucas Blooming gets his touchdown for the night?
It's a huge play, and their captain, Lucas Blumling, one of the captains for this Desert Mountain defense, just comes through when they needed it most.
Absolutely. He just reads the play, absolutely. Just sees Antonio Casillas' eyes. He just interrupts the play there. I didn't quite catch who the ball was intended to, but Lucas Blumley was in that action. He gets his pick. He gets his first touchdown of the year, and I believe that's the first pick 6.
I was about to say, correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's the first pick 6 of the year.
It is the first 6 of the year for Desert Mountain. That title could have belonged to Elijah Mears. But now the question begs to differ now. Steven, does Lucas Blooming get consideration for player of the game today?
He's up there. I'm not going to show my cards. You got to wait till the post game.
Okay, you got to keep the cards hidden. Make sure you consider it and tell us, the fans, before you go on to the field. Because I am curious, who do you have on your – because right off the rip, I'm thinking of 3 players.
Blumling's up there. Sheffrin's up there.
Yep.
Cumberland's up there.
Yep.
I mean, you can work in Broadkey. You can work in Colton Broadkey. But right now, I think the top 3 are Blumling, Cumberland, and Sheffrin. Those are definitely the top 3.
And then the pick 6 occurred 2 minutes, 13 seconds here at the third quarter. Desert Mountain's running away with it. Even though no offensive scores has been happening, the defense, they woke up here. And I feel like it's been more of a defensive battle in the second half. The both defenses playing really good factors, forcing turnovers, forcing takeaways. And just like that, Desert Mountain, they get the first pick six there. I know Coach Hamilton's happy about that.
Yeah, he's been happy. They haven't been able to exactly get in rhythm on offense. They've had chunk plays here and there. They've had a couple good drives, but they just haven't been able to sustain anything throughout the game. And that's basically the same on both sides. It's mostly the defensive fronts, the secondary too, but their defense in general just has been what's controlling this game.
Indeed, as we have Gabriel Sortello with the possession of the ball. More dirty laundry on this play there. The tech director very excited on the penalty there, although I'm sick of seeing the yellow laundry here in the field.
Hey, it's something we're sadly getting used to. Just if I had a nickel for every penalty
I think you have a solid $3, $4 in the bag. Maybe buy a pizza here
on the
at soda.
season,
On the season, that's a different story. I think we're looking at approximately.
we're talking like my rent.
Okay, that's a good exaggeration there. Hey man, maybe at the end of the season you might be right.
I might be close.
You might be close, maybe. Would it, and obviously going over triple digits, but
Oh, that's against Cactus.
so. Although it's going to be against Cactus High School, and we were talking about Desert Mountain here. Are you talking about overall penalties?
I mean, just overall, it's been a fairly sloppy game on both sides. Just a lot of false starts, a lot of holding, there's been offsides. I mean, name it, and it's been called so far.
Indeed. Fun game so far. Desert Mountain back on the field again. The defense, last time, pick six to the house. Lucas Blumling with credit for that. Gets the touchdown for Desert Mountain and opens the scoring sheet here in the second half. And it's still going to remain Antonio Casillas in the backfield. He's going to hand it off to Davis for a gain of loss, actually of 2 yards there. And not the way you want to start off there. And we're just approaching the 2-minute mark here in the third quarter. And at this point, your coach, Brian Bellis, and what do you want to tell your players?
If I'm Coach Bellis, they're trying to run it up the middle there. I'm not working north to south anymore. I'm working east to west, it's again just getting these players in space. Try and run some stretch runs, run some counters, try and, get a few tosses, a few sweeps, or just keep throwing those screens, keep throwing those wheel routes. Just get the players in space. You can't keep relying on this north to south diving offense when that Desert Mountain defensive front has shown they'll just blow it up.
Yeah, that's something I've been seeing in the second half. There's no pocket time for Cactus High School. The quarterbacks, whether it's Braden Laguafuena or Antonio Casillas, they have no time to react. As soon as they get the snap, they look up, and just like that, they have no time to react, and we have more laundry on the field. We're going to be interested to see what happens here. It's going to be a safety.
Intentional grounding in the end zone. That'll be a safety.
Oh, wow.
He threw it right at his left tackle. There was no receiver within the vicinity.
Yeah, the only one close was an offensive lineman, but they're illegal to catch the ball there. Safety, back-to-back scoring for Desert Mountain, but no, not on the offense, but on the defense. They add 9 points in the second half.
It's not how you draw it up, but again, Desert Mountain's finding a way to get a lead. They're finding a way to sustain it. And, through 3 quarters, it's looking like they're finding a way to possibly go 4-0.
Indeed, yeah. As the time keeps on clicking here, leading here against Cactus High School. And, getting a little ahead of the schedule. Let's look at what their next opposition is, and that's going to be at home against Campo Verde.
Yeah, I'm not going to, you don't want to look ahead to Campo Verde. They're 1-2 right now. But I think the key matchup right now, and we've been talking about how long can this Desert Mountain team get away with the penalties, get away with the miscues. You've got Horizon in 2 weeks. On Friday the 29th, Horizon at home. That might be the game of the year for this team, and that is going to be a game. Other than Higley later on in the season, Horizon and Higley,
the 5A champions.
Those are going to be the 2 biggest games where it's going to be, can you survive with this many penalties? Can you survive the mistakes?
It's going to be very interesting because actually tomorrow I'm actually going to go to Higley High School to go talk with the athletic director. And Obviously, I'm working with Desert Mountain here, the broadcast. Everything's been going amazing. So it's going to be interesting to hear his words and how Higley's doing this year as well, trying to repeat as champions. As we have a quick muff there from Desert Mountain. The punt doesn't go in the way. It's going to be number 28, Tyler Stafford, with possession. And he's able to make nothing out of something. Or excuse me, something out of nothing. Got the words messed up there, the terms. Gets a good gain of approximately 15 yards there at the enemy's 40-yard line. And at this point, if the points just keep coming for Desert Mountain, it's more than certain that Desert Mountain's going to look at a 4-0 start this year.
Yeah, I mean, go get me the scouting report for Higley, because I'll be on the call for that game. I'll appreciate that.
Are you going to be the color or are you going to be play-by-play?
Oh, I'm play-by-play.
That's awesome.
Your color.
I'm there. I'm always there. Always love to be here for Desert Mountain, as they are undefeated, 3-0 in the year, as I believe they are. I'm not sure if they play today or if they play tomorrow, because no, today's a Thursday night football. Do not forget, it's not Friday. It is Thursday. Scheduling getting all over the place. That's Journey Solomon gets reception there. At this point, just trying to get comfortable. Get Brady McDonough back in his head, as they're going to be playing against Desert Edge tomorrow. Higley, it's going to be an exciting matchup. Can't wait to call that game with you.
Is that a Higley game? Is that Desert Mountain Higley game at home, or is that going to be Desert Mountain at Higley?
I think it's going to be at Desert Mountain. It's
at Desert Mountain.
It is at Desert Mountain.
Okay.
Interesting to know, this is their third away game for Desert Mountain. They only played one game at home, and that was against last week. Chaparral, obviously very memorable game for Coach Hamilton, as Max Sheffrin still with possession of the ball. Just at this point, gonna milk the rest of this third quarter under 30 seconds. But more before we hold on break. Talking about Coach Hamilton, I got to talk with him and how much it meant for him, and the first time in school history to go back-to-back years defeating Chaparral, because Chaparral, they're always a team that put in on competition. And really, shout out to Marcel Jones. He's so amazing in the quarterback slot and making huge plays there. And unfortunately, some hiccups there on the game, and they gave Desert Mountain the edge and the victory 24-21. And it was just an all-around game on both sides. And obviously, Coach Hamilton very proud of that game. But that's the end of the third quarter here. We're going to go hit a short break. We're going to be approaching the fourth quarter. Desert Mountain leads 30-6. All Desert Mountain here. We'll see you after the break.
Hey guys, Vince here to talk about Angel Dentistry. It's where my wife and I have gone for over 10 years, and we trust them with our routine and extensive dental care because they care. Dr. Amber Angel is an Arizona native, born in the town of Miami, and has been practicing in the Valley over 20 years. For general to comprehensive dental services, call 602-788-2008. Located off of Cave Creek Road just north of the 101 in North Phoenix. Angel Dentistry, proud supporters of our young people and proud partners of the Varsity. When you think of family restaurants and sports bars, think Bonfire. Bonfire is part of the Tempe landscape, supporting local schools. Join the Bonfire Booster Club Challenge. Mention Corona del Sol, Desert Vista, Marcos de Niza, Mountain Point, or Valley Christian, and that school's sports program will earn loyalty points. The winner after football season will earn a fundraiser at Bonfire. Come for the food and fun, support the community. Bonfire, open every day east of I-10 on Warner. Show your game ticket all day Friday and Saturday and get 15% off. 480-306-6801.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here at the fourth quarter. Max Sheffrin almost breaks it through there. He wants to get his second touchdown of the night. But Steven, my goodness, I look at the name Stephen, I look at the name Steven. Different names, obviously, so my apologies there, Steven. I'm not the best with names, so I apologize.
All right.
But gonna throw this at you right now. Fourth quarter, Desert Mountain up 30-6. Here in the fourth quarter, they're looking like they're going to take this away and go 4-0 in the season. Takeaways of today's game, and if it's too early, don't answer the question. But who's going to be your player of the game?
I mean, I know who's going to be the player of the game. I want to keep a little suspense there. Oh,
it's going to be incomplete there.
No, that hit the
just short there. That would have been a very questionable call there for Brady McDonough. That would have been his fourth pick of the night. And I feel like before you take over here, are you going to ask Coach Hamilton about Brady McDonough's play style today? Was that just a bad factor today, just a bad game, or got to improve it? Because 3 takeaways of the night.
I mean, there's a lot you could talk about with him. It's, obviously you can go with the positives. What did you think of the defense today? How much are you going to be able to lean on that going forward? What did you think of the running game? But you got to bring up the penalties. You might have to bring up the play of McDonough, and it's not all him. it's just those 4 picks. It's a rough thing to see on the stat line.
And I'm happy to say about this, bro. Ryan McDonough finally checks us into the game after such an incredible game from Max Scheffrin. And we'll see what's going to happen here. We have more dirty laundry there. I'm not sure who's in the corner over there. It looks like Jack Freeberg maybe had a bit too much of conversation with the referees, and the refs did not like that.
Yeah, Ryan he's been MIA for most of this game on offense, but he's finally getting involved. And Coach Hamilton, again, it's getting everyone on that offense involved. It's spreading the ball around, and that's going to be the key for Desert Mountain this year.
The key indeed, and that's it's just sharing the possession of the ball, sharing. It will be an unsportsmanlike conduct. More penalties on Desert Mountain there, and obviously the question begs to differ. You think they care? Do you think they matter so much? Obviously you do, because penalties it's just one of those aspects of football that it could change the game. It could change the game, and I want to bring up a prime example. Last year in the Super Bowl, obviously C.J. Gardner-Johnson getting that bad pass interference on Juju Smith-Schuster, and that ultimately iced the game for Kansas City to win the Super Bowl. And such a penalties and as just a fan of the sport, you don't want penalties to make a factor. You just want the players to play their heart's content.
Yeah, I mean, you'll hear every coach, they'll say, control what you can control, do what you can do. And it's all these penalties, it's just taking the game out of your hands at times.
As Max Scheffrin gets absolutely shocked there by the defender, linebacker there on Cactus High School, the Cobras, trying to make out the jersey number. I think that was actually Brandon Lagofueno, one of the DBs in the game. He stopped playing quarterback after the short, midway through the third quarter. Antonio Casillas locked in his position there. So probably a transition there. I know on Max Prep there's different stats of different quarterbacks, so I know they probably like to run different schemes and different type of QBs volatile plays, and maybe try to trick up the defense, try to make a different play there. But he plays good defense there, able to make the tackle there as McDonough connects to Max Scheffrin there, gets a good screenshot there. Scheffrin able to make some big yards there, as we're going to see if that's enough for the first down. It looks like it will be. Picks up 12 there. And just like that, Scheffrin continues his absolutely terrific game today.
Yeah, you mentioned that the Cactus offense likes to run a bunch of different sets. They try to give it a bunch of different looks. But you know what they like over there?
What are they?
They're athletes, and they've got a lot of good ones. They're gonna have a good year, and every Friday's not gonna look like tonight. But it's just getting every athlete involved, getting it some time for their quarterback, and just letting their playmakers get in space and make a play.
Absolutely, and something. I feel like when you look at Desert Mountain, it's they play against themselves because so many penalties that cost them so much. If they contain those penalties, who knows how much the scoring would have been. As we have a quick hurdle by Dylan Hip, able to make some action there, able to get a highlight reel onto his own today.
I mean, Dylan Hip, again, he's so athletic. They use him in the run game. They use him in the passing game. He's one of their top defenders, too. He's just overall a huge part of this Desert Mountain offense. And they haven't been able to really connect with him so far this year. They haven't been able to get him fully involved. But if they can use the last couple minutes of this game to get a little bit of a groove going, get a little bit of a rhythm on that offense, getting the Hip more involved, getting him open on those short routes like that. He's such a good athlete. He can make so many plays in space. It's going to be huge for this offense.
That's right. Max Scheffrin's going to go in for his second touchdown of the night. He's piling up his highlight reel today. He's adding towards his total. He's going to end up with 4 total touchdowns of the night. Today being his best game so far, adding on to his terrific year.
Sad as it is to say, Scheffrin might be taking away our potential lineman interview after the game.
Indeed. I know you want to get Tony Cumberland out there or Lucas Bloomley there. And honestly, I feel like it goes either way. And obviously, when I get very confused about who to choose because everyone just has a great game overall, I end up just asking the head coach, Coach, who would you think had the better game? Who's your player of the game? And just bring him on the show. Last week, I got a little lucky because the Fiesta Bowl ended up highlighting Dylan Tapley. So I was like, bring him on. I don't care if he was my back-to-back player of the game. But he shows out. And today, unfortunately, he's been quiet today.
Well, we're going to change things up a little this week. Tapley's giving some love to the other guys on the team.
Absolutely.
But when you're well over 100 yards on the ground and you've got 2 touchdowns, it's kind of hard not to give that serious consideration for the play of the game.
Indeed, and he really started off the scoring sheet for Desert Mountain. The first drive only took him 3 plays, him to himself, and he takes it into the end zone to start off the lead. And then Tony Cumberland gets in there, Dylan Tapley gets in the fun, and then the pick 6 from Lucas Bloomley gets in there as well. So everyone's having fun. Defense, offense, everyone's having fun. Desert Mountain went from leading 7-6, and it's 37-6. So the offense for Cactus just absolutely shut down after that touchdown from Bokori Montoya, and I feel like that's someone who's been quiet as well. Bokori Montoya, after that touchdown, he's been quiet. He got beat on the touchdown by Dylan Tapley, and from there, it's been non-existent.
Yeah, it's just a story of it's just the sheer talent of Desert Mountain. They're going against a team that is also one of the few teams that gets as many penalties as Desert Mountain so far this year. But that talent, that the huge plays that they've been able to make, they're just able to get that separation when a team isn't playing a clean game.
Indeed. As Alex Cruz gets the kickoff there, it's going to hand into the hands of Nico Boncori Montoya. He gets a bit of a leverage there, decides to stay in play, gets a good yardage of approximately 26 of a kickoff there. And at this point, Cactus High School, they're imminently probably going to take the lead. I'm not going to knock on wood, and you never know. It's 9 minutes still. It's 9 minutes in a high school game. But at this point, you just got to play around with the playbook and see what's going right against Desert Mountain. And you can't be sad if you're Cactus High School. I mean, at the end of the day, you go 2-0. You start off the season 2-0. You lose to against Sandra Day O'Connor, 55-21. Not the baddest beating, and then you get absolutely destroyed. I'm not gonna say destroyed. Desert Mountain not having the perfect game today. They just get beat in their own game to Desert Mountain, and Desert Mountain's gonna go 4-0. As we're gonna have another. I thought I saw some laundry there. My eyes are deceiving me now. I see everything yellow. As I think Braden Lagofena, or no, Antonio Casillas still remains. I believe he's gonna stay in that game for the rest of the game.
Yeah, you see, at this point, Cactus, you're trying to get something going, just to get a few good plays in a row, get something that you could really harp on going into next week, something that you could really just emphasize in that film and just in the prep for next week, just a good thing you can take away. And that kick return, that's the start of it. And you see, he made Michael Sheldrick miss on that play, and he was able to deliver a solid return, even though he caught it on like the 4-yard line.
Indeed. As accidentally pulled up the baseball stats. Boncori is dropped. I think they're applying the different schemes now with different quarterbacks in the backfield. Tony Cumberland gets his name mentioned again. I think the last time we mentioned his name was when he had that touchdown, the surprise touchdown. The lineman gets the touchdown. We love seeing that.
Hey, he heard me say he's probably not my player of the game anymore, and he's just trying to fight his way back in.
And then looking ahead for Cactus High School, they're going to be playing against Peoria, away at Peoria. And then looking deep into the schedule, these are all teams that Desert Mountain played. The Sunrise Mountain, Verado, Desert Edge. A tough game against Millennium, Canyon View. So not the end of the season so far. You're going to go 2-2. Could try to get the season back on track for the 5A runner-ups.
Yeah, they've got that 5A Desert West schedule coming up, and it's just how well can they perform in that with these penalties? How well can they hold up with the line just being – it's essentially a turnstile tonight. I mean, Cumberland and Atherton have had their way.
And something we forgot to mention as well due to the technical difficulty is that these teams played last year. They played last year. They played at Desert Mountain, and that score was 29-6. So they still haven't beaten their own offensive scoring from last year, as they still have 6 points. And it looks like it's going to be a punt for Nico Boncori Montoya. Had a little bit of a brain fart there, and obviously the offense is going to get much going there, and defense forced yet another 3-and-out. Just adding on into their resume, this Desert Mountains team, they're awesome. They're powerful. They play with composure. They know what they're doing. Almost gets the block punt there, and it's going to hand into the hands of Journey Solomon. He's going to get the receive on, trying to make some shimmer moves here and there. Breaks off one tackle, but gets a good gain there of approximately 6 yards. And more from last year ended up in the favor of Desert Mountain, winning 29-6. So far, nothing too much different. 37-6, almost similar from last year.
Yeah, I mean, right there, though. That might be the first time this year Journey Solomon's touched the ball and there hasn't been a big chunk play.
Indeed. Journey Solomon, he could be that ghost of trying to make a player of the game, but ultimately he had teammates who just had a terrific game today, showing that they belong on that player of the list. So I'm going to be very interested. And note, you guys could watch ladies and gentlemen, you guys could all watch the post-game interview, the pre-game interviews at Varsity Show on Twitter, on X. Just look us up. We're going to be there, and we're going to have a great time today as Grant Garduno is in position over Brady McDonough, the backup quarterback for Desert Mountain. That's enough for the day for Brady McDonough. And that brings up my next question there before you're going to leave here in a little bit, Steven. Brady McDonough, not the best game in terms of efficiency. He had a couple takeaways, important, not the great decision playing today. You know, is that a question? Is that a concern moving forward if you're Desert Mountain?
I don't know if you're too concerned just because of what he's shown throughout his career, what he's shown throughout this season. He's had those couple of big games this season. He's been pretty safe with the ball so far until tonight. You know, even Drew Brees has had a 3-pick game. We can't be putting up 6 touchdowns and 400 yards in every game.
Indeed, as Garduno ends up finding Journey Solomon for a quick screen pass. Does not go anywhere. We are just under 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Desert Mountains leading 37-6. Excuse me, I ended up getting the hiccups. So that just means I got the loss of breath. Take a quick breather here and catch up. As Desert Mountain, they're going to end up taking this away, and they're going to go 4-0. Great plays.
This Desert Mountain team, again, we're getting really, really close to that part of their schedule. They're going to be facing off against all of their region teams. I mean, how sustainable is the play style they've had so far? They're getting into that Northeast Valley section with Horizon, with Cactus Shadows. Obviously, they've got ALA, they've got Higley. They've got a really, really tough schedule from the rest of the year. Everyone knew that going into the year. They're 4-0 so far, but can they continue that?
Tough schedule indeed coming up here. However, they're a team to reckon. Teams should be scared of facing off against Desert Mountain, and I would not be surprised that they're going to be ranked in the open division coming up this week. So it's going to be very interesting. Please look on Twitter at Varsity Sports Show. I kind of forgot the tag at Varsity. I think it's Varsity Show.
I think it's Varsity Show.
Do not forget about that. We also have live radio show segments between 8:10 on KDUS 1060. Always look us up. We got plenty of content from around the Arizona State. You're going to love it. We have all live guests, all our interns, all our freelancer jobs, as we're going to get the kickoff ready here as Nico Borque Montoya. He gets a black block there. No penalty flag thrown on that play, and he's going to take it all the way, and he's going to end up getting some consolation points for Cactus High School. It's going to be Nico Borque Montoya getting his second touchdown of the night.
That's, again, you're just seeing what the potential of this Cactus team has. Getting the playmakers in space. Borque Montoya, he makes Journey Solomon miss. He shakes him that first time. He makes another man miss. And he finishes off at the end with him shaking a tackle from Michael Sheldrick. It's a great play overall. Obviously, he had some great blocks on there, but that was all Borque Montoya.
Yeah, and that brings up similar action to what last week happened at against Chaparral. And one of the receivers, Plash Johnson, who had a terrific game, he was so elusive. And when I was talking with Parker Garage in the car, you just couldn't help but know that if he had like detergent all over him, he was so slippery. Desert Mountain could not make a tackle. And with today as well, Coach Hamilton even recognized both players, Plash Johnson and Nico Borque Montoya, both great players on this team. And obviously they're going to be looking on to play on that college level. So great, absolutely great tackle there. Great consolation points to take for Cactus High School. As we're going to get ready here for the extra point. Getting ready for the kickoff there. And it's good as good. Clean as clear. Like the ocean breeze. I'm just bringing up adjectives at this point. Just trying to describe what I can. But obviously not the way you wanted to celebrate a touchdown. Another penalty flag on the field. But we're just going to ignore that. We're already approaching the end of the game. 37-13. Cactus High School, they get something to take home.
Yeah, if you're Coach I'm sorry, if you're Coach Bellis, I almost said Bilsey. If you're Coach Bellis, you're looking at this game. You gotta realize the defensive front, that front seven played well today. It's not completely on that unit. The corners played well at times. The defense played well. They showed spurts of really, really, really high-level play against a Desert Mountain team. Now, can you just string that together? The special teams all night has been really good. They've been there on coverage. They obviously just took that punt for 6, but if I'm Coach Vellis, that's my takeaway. Just really harp on the defensive play, really harp on how much pressure you were able to get on McDonough, and just focus on how well the special teams unit played too.
Special teams indeed. And question for you: Are we still gonna do the post game interview? Just get to get recap with Kyle Cooper and the different schools, what happened between today's game?
I think so. I gotta ask about that.
Yeah, there should be a link that they sent you. So, just I'm curious. If you do, I could send it to you, see how it is. But choosing a player of the game, we're just approaching under 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Great motions throughout everything, and we're just gonna be creating a variety of different content for everyone to really look and really create different invitations as we have a quick kickoff there. As we have Santana Wilson with the burst of speed there, making it to the fifth field. He's going to try to take it all the way. Almost has the advantage there. I thought that was going all the way.
Santana Wilson, just again, he's such an athletic guy. He's such a huge playmaker for them.
Absolutely.
And again, he's just showing it there. Speed, size, body control on some of those picks. He's so key for this Desert Mountain team.
Indeed. Has now 4 minutes and 30 seconds left in this game. We're just approaching the mark where you're actually going to go, and not much to talk about the offense coming out here, backups and everything. So if you have a concrete answer, who is your player of the game?
It's got to be Sheffrin. It's got to be Sheffrin. I was holding out hope that I could have a lineman interview, shake things up a little, but it's got to be Sheffrin. I mean, what he did on the ground tonight, he was the majority of the scoring for this Desert Mountain team. He was the majority of the offense, essentially, and you just can't look past that.
Indeed, as we're going to have the backup for Max Sheffrin. That's not Ryan McDonough. It's going to be number 37 for the team.
Cameron Terry.
Yep. Good to see him on the play action there. Backups are in for this team, and they're just going to use this time to just milk the clock and call it a great game. A great game overall, but obviously a lot of issues to be pointed out. Penalties in that first half, much cleaner in the second half for sure. Not too much laundry on the field, not too much dirty aspects. Although there was some that could have been a better effect towards others. But overall, I believe it looked like a more cleaner game. Nonetheless, something that you have to pick up. Just looking ahead in the schedule, Desert Mountain's going to have a bit of a break as today is a Thursday night game. So they're going to be looking to play against a strong Campo Verde at home. As we're going to have another run there from Cameron Terry.
Yeah, and you just got to, going forward, I mean, it's more of what Hamilton said on the show on Saturday. I mean, he said that he said we're still committing some infractions that aren't positive, still around 9 to 10 penalties per night. Our kids are resilient. That part matters, but all that matters is that we're going in the right direction and pulled out a win. Obviously, that was in reference last week. I'm assuming it's going to be much of the same this week. They gotta take the approach that they've had all season, just trying to improve every day. Obviously, you can try and improve the penalties so much, but it's just how can you overcome that too? You can say that you're not going to get any more penalties, but how can you just work to completely limit those? I don't know if it's adding more people into protection to negate some of the false starts, or if you're essentially just lining guys up a yard behind the ball on defense to negate some of those offsides. I mean, there's not a ton specifically that you can focus on other than just getting a 60 minutes or 40 minutes of clean football.
Indeed, clean football. And, just continue going here. Desert Mountain's going to go 4-0 here. And right before you go here, Steven, they're going to go 4-0. And more impressively, they're 3-0 in away games. They only played one game at home, and that was against Chaparral. And that was a really true contest. But 3 games at the opposition, and they're 3-0. They're undefeated. They haven't felt that sense of defeat. And now they have a bit of a home stretch. They got these next 2 games playing at home, and got the fans behind them.
Yeah, they did what they need to do. Going into the season, you just hope, hey, let's win half of our road games. Let's win, 60, 70% of our road games, and let's win our home games. That's what every team wants to do. Obviously, Desert Mountain hasn't lost a road game, and in their pre-conference play, they've gone 4-0 so far. They've got one more game against Campo Verde, but Coach Hamilton's got the team in a really, really good spot with a lot of home games coming up in this 5A schedule.
And we all know how passionate those Desert Mountain Wolves fan bases are. They're showing out for the support. Always have the love and always have everything under their control. Steven, I know you're going to take your leave right now. I'm going to go have that great interview. So thank you so much for being on call with me, and we'll see you on the call next time.
Sebastian, I'll see you. Have a good minute and 58 seconds.
I'll try to take over. Folks, that was Steven Buxton. Go ahead and follow him on Twitter at Steven Buxton. Always going to find him. Always love having showing ASU proud and really just having doing what he loved the most. And he did a great job today in our broadcast, as we're going to have Terry able to get another great yard there. We're going to see if he's able to pick up that first down. Indeed, he picks up the first down, and that is going to probably end the game today for Desert Mountain. Playing a great game today all around. Obviously not the greatest moment to really grab around. Penalties all over the place. A couple plays, really a lot of takeaways. The turnovers. Defense played a really big factor. Can't forget the Lucas Blooming pick 6, the first one for the team and for the Wolves. So they have something to celebrate. And Steven Buxton's going to go ahead and have an interview, which could be found at Varsity Show on Twitter, on X. And they are in lineup victory formation. Just 1 minute left in this game. They are going to go 4-0 in today's game in this season. Going to be playing an absolutely great game. Next game is going to be at home against Campo Verde, a team from Gilbert, on September 22nd. It's going to be a great game. They have 8 days off. They're going to recooperate, going to see what's going right and going to see what's going wrong. Incredible broadcast today from the group today. And really, once again, we apologize for the technical issues that we had earlier on the first half. Many complications here, and that's really the part of it here, working the technical aspects of the football game. But please, we thank you, and we give you the hug wholeheartedly for enjoying our second half coverage today. Losing my breath. Absolutely terrific game, able to create. And thank you so much for watching today. Desert Mountain Wolves are going to go 4-0 in today's game. Cactus High School, they're going to look to bounce back. They're going 2-2 on the season. The Wolves take over today. Once again, my name is Sebastian Mandaka. Thank you so much for joining us in today's game. Great game overall by the Wolves. They're going to keep on going to keep playing hard and strong. Once again, thank you so much. Thank you so much for Parker Garage, Lorenzo, Tyler, and Steven Buxton, myself, Sebastian Mandaka, and Austin for the broadcast group. We'll see you next week for the coverage. Desert Mountain taking on Campo Verde. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.
Hello everyone, this is Kyle Cooper with Varsity Sports, and I'm back again with another halftime segment. This week we are going back to the NFL. We are skipping the podium and going to a brand new segment called Dive. You might be familiar with this guy right here, NFL quarterback Brock Purdy. Some of you might not actually know this, but Brock Purdy was born here in Arizona in Queen Creek. He made his name known throughout the state back in 2015 through 2017 as the quarterback for Perry High School. Now, right after his sophomore year in high school, the AIA actually adjusted the region so Perry could be placed in the 6A Division Premier Region. The 6A region ranks as one of the toughest regions in all of the United States for high school football. During high school, Purdy competed against some top-tier competition in playing Chandler, Hamilton, and Basha. You might be familiar with those schools. In the years of 2016 and 2017, Brock Purdy led Perry to the state championship back-to-back, but ended up losing both of those games, 65-28 and 48-42 to Chandler High School. For the 2017 to 2018 season, Brock Purdy was named the Gatorade Player of the Year, and this was the first Arizona Football Player of the Year award to go to Perry High School. Throughout high school, his stats were pretty impressive, throwing for 4,410 yards, 57 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 1,106 rushing yards, and 10 rushing touchdowns. It wasn't all positive for Brock Purdy, as people overlooked him, and this continued to be a theme throughout his career. ESPN and 247 Sports considered Purdy as only a 3-star recruit coming out of high school. Despite this rating, Purdy committed to Iowa State University and joined Kyle Kempt and Zeb Nolan as the third-string quarterback. He soon became the starter that freshman year, as Kempt got injured and Nolan wasn't really producing on the field, so they gave the start to Brock Purdy. In his first season, he would finish with a career-best 169.9 passer rating, and he completed 146 out of 220 passes for 2,250 yards, 16 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. The Cyclones achieved 4 consecutive winning seasons, turning any heads and getting noticed. After college, he declared for the NFL draft, and if you're an NFL fan, we all know that Brock Purdy was picked last in the 2022 draft. This is where his nickname Mr. Irrelevant came from. The 2022 to 23 season for the 49ers was a great one, as they had the #1 defense in the NFL and a really star-studded offense as well. After promising young quarterback Trey Lance went out with an injury in week 2 of the season, Jimmy Garoppolo took the job, but only lasted till week 13 of the season. After Garoppolo suffered a foot injury, Brock Purdy came into the game, and this is where he would make a name for himself in the NFL. Brock Purdy stepped in, completed 25 to 37 passes for 210 yards and 2 touchdowns. He became the first Mr. Irrelevant to throw for a touchdown pass in a regular season game. You really can't make this up. In his first career start, he bested Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. After that game, the team went on to win 6 games in a row and made it to the NFC Championship game. The 49ers completed their 22 to 23 season with a loss to the Eagles in that championship game. It didn't help either that Brock Purdy was out for most of the game with an injury, and what looked like a Super Bowl winning team fell short and had to go home. Despite losing their #1 and #2 quarterbacks, the 49ers discovered a star in the making. The 49ers are coming off a dominant 30-7 win over the Pittsburgh Steelers. With their excellent defense, one of the best running backs in the NFL in Christian McCaffrey, star wide receivers, and Mr. Relevant, the sky is the limit for the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers will play the Los Angeles Rams this Sunday, and it will be the first time that a #1 overall pick in Matthew Stafford faces off against the last pick in the draft in Brock Purdy. He went from taking Perry High School to the state championship to taking the San Francisco 49ers to the NFC Championship game. It's clear that Arizona's own Brock Purdy is proving all these haters wrong. This has been your week's deep dive, and once again, I'm Kyle Cooper with Varsity Sports, and enjoy the second half.
The NFL season is back, so let's take a look at some of the top plays from week 1, starting with the hometown Arizona Cardinals against the Washington Commanders. How about the defense of the Cardinals coming up with this fumble 6, returning it to the house for a touchdown? The Cardinals defense looked good, but they unfortunately lose a close one. Then we have Trevor Lawrence of the Jacksonville Jaguars. What a throw to Zay Jones in the back of the end zone. They had to check to make sure he caught it, but somehow he kept his entire body in bounds and was able to corral it. What an incredible catch from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Then from one AFC South team to another, how about the great Derrick Henry of the Tennessee Titans doing it once again? He became famous for his stiff arms, and here's another ridiculous one against Marcus May of the Saints. Just absolutely pushes him out of the way, trucks him out of the way. Derrick Henry doing his thing right from the get-go this season in Week 1. It was a phenomenal week for the San Francisco 49ers. How about Christian McCaffrey? Incredible rushing performance, incredible spin move, taking it to the house. Great blocks from Brandon Ayuk. The 49ers looked dominant against the Steelers in Week 1. The future looks bright in Green Bay. How about Romeo Doubs from Jordan Love? Young QB, young receiver, finding that connection right from the get-go in Week 1. Love back of the end zone, finds Doubs, hauls it in. Great touchdown catch. Packers looked good in Week 1. Tough loss for the New England Patriots, but how about this grab from Hunter Henry, the tight end, the one-hand, left-handed grab. Great catch, great highlight from Week 1. The first-round rookie, Bijan Robinson of the Falcons, looks like he has so much promise. Look at this juke move, multiple juke moves on his way to the end zone. The first-round running back out of Texas looks like he's off to a great start and going to have one heck of an NFL career. The QB receiver performance of the day would have to be Tua Tagovailoa to Tyreek Hill, finding him time after time after time. Some incredible throws, 2 for a touchdown. Tua goes for 466 yards through the air. Tyreek Hill, 215 receiving yards. I mean, just a ridiculous deep ball catcher and deep ball thrower is Tua. And of course, it had to end with the game-winning touchdown going to Tyreek Hill to seal the deal for the Dolphins over the Chargers in Week 1. What a clutch fourth quarter touchdown from Tyreek Hill. Great throw for Tua, right on the money to win the game. What a disastrous night for the New York Giants, and it started like this. Graham Gano, the kicker, gets his kick blocked, and Noah Igbenogany of the Dallas Cowboys defense, which looked dominant, takes it all the way to the house, and the Cowboys would end up winning 40-0 on Sunday night. Let's just say Garrett Wilson has a bright future. What an incredible catch. Maybe a catch of the year candidate already in Week 1. Just ridiculous stuff from the young receiver. Zach Wilson finds him in the back of the end zone. Somehow he juggles and hauls it in and finds a way to hang on. He just kind of stuck his arm out, but found a way to control it to the ground and not lose it. Just unbelievable stuff. It was a tough opening night for the Jets after losing Aaron Rodgers to that terrible injury, but how about the rookie Xavier Gipson in overtime returning a punt for a touchdown to win the game for the Jets? Just an incredible return. Only the third return touchdown to win a game in overtime to start off the Jets season 1-0.